I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I thought I might do something a little bit different. You understand? Early in the morning, things. You for me, I'm awake. I've been awake all night. I thought to myself, what can I do in this morning? Yes, Reblan, you're right, yeah. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do a dramatic reading. I've been feeling it still. I like my storybooks. You understand? So I thought I'll do a dramatic reading. Yeah. So I've got a book. It's called Infatuation. Yeah. It's by Francine Quaicoe. Okay, now I've meant to be doing something with this book. Hey guys, I appreciate you guys who are joining. I've been meaning to do a dramatic reading on this book. So it is a fictional story, but kind of based on real life events, based on true stories. So, lifetime TV kind of thing. You know me, I love relationships as well. So it's all about that as well. And so I want to read chapter 1 for you guys. So the book is by Francine Quaicoe. I want you guys, if you like it, if you like the book, when you hear it, when I'm reading it, if you like it, go out, support the thing, go and buy the book, support a black author. Do you know what I'm saying? Anybody out there as well who has a book that is fictional, send in your book and I won't mind reading it. You understand? Yeah, and we'll do a dramatic reading for you, whether it's chapter 1 or whatever. Or if you've got a manuscript that you want someone to read, I'll read it chapter 1, do you know what I'm saying, and get on it. So I want to do a dramatic reading for you guys, and like I said, the book is called Infatuation by Francine Quaicoe. What I'm going to do, I'm going to read, okay, for you guys, the blurb, and then we'll get into the story. You understand? Cool. So the blurb says, when scrolling never ends and time is wasted, we realize we have become subjects to hopeless dreams. Social media plays an instrumental role in shaping our views of reality and creating a facade of happiness. This trend of vanity and virtual contentment undoubtedly creates an online competition which sadly can lead to jealousy, confusion, distortion, and of course, insecurities. So meet two friends who are not only brainwashed by social media's ideals, but are infatuated by their abusive partners. Has social media prevented them from escaping the harsh realities of their situation, or are they literally blinded by love? Unravel what happens as you follow each character on their journey to happiness and uncover what lays beneath the hidden surface. So, like I said, guys, we're reading chapter 1, okay? If you like it, listen, if you like it, yeah, if you like it, go out and buy the book. Support the authors out here. You understand? So let's get into it. Let's get into the book. Let me read in it. You feel me? Let me read in it. Yeah, man. All right, cool. Look, let me go to the prologue. You understand? Let me get to the prologue. Appreciate you, Jay. Let me go to the prologue. Let's start the read. It's going to probably be about 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. So if you've got that spare, stick with us. All right, cool. Share this with somebody else. So the book by Francine Quaicoe called Infatuation. Okay, so we're starting the prologue. All right, so welcome to the book, chapter 1, prologue. How did my life get like this? Cecile thought to herself as she lazily washed the remainder of her dishes. She placed a wet plate on the drying rack and paused as her eyes caught glimpse of a sharp object. Malicious thoughts came rushing through her head. The thought of stabbing her husband with the kitchen knife didn't seem like a bad idea after all. In fact, a smile curled across Cecile's lips at the prospect of seeing her husband begging and pleading for mercy. This time, she had the power. The roles had reversed. This is for every bruise you gave me, every lie you told me, every punch, every kick, insult and threat. I hope you burn in hell, she cried as she ruthlessly aimed the knife towards his jugular vein, aiming to cause as much damage as possible. Adrenaline surged through Cecile as she listened and watched her husband scream with his entire body. His eyes widened with horror, his mouth rigid and open. The scream continued to pierce through her as I callously and emotionally thrusted the knife through his dark chocolate skin. Cecile took a step back and stared bitterly at her husband, who lay helplessly on the floor. Blood gushed out of his neck like lava erupting out of a volcano. Jermaine looked shocked. "You made me do this," she said. Before Cecile could enjoy giving her husband one last stab, reality hit. Jermaine came rushing into the kitchen, throwing his dirty plates into the sink, and Cecile stared disgustingly at the plates, as though they represented her husband, and she sighed. That's the prologue, yo. That's the prologue. Let's get to chapter 1. Whew. My girl came out strong. Yeah, I don't know about how some of you guys, I don't know if some of you guys are thinking about killing your husbands. Please don't. Write a book, okay? Don't kill your husbands. Write a book. All right, chapter 1. In fact, let me get a little bit of water. It's getting intense. My throat is even getting dry. It's getting dry. Remember, guys, it's a book by Francine Quaicoe called Infatuation, right? If you guys have a book out there you want me to read, get on me. All right, cool. Chapter 1. The best way to find out if you can trust somebody is to trust them. Ernest Hemingway. Here it goes. He did not understand her value, yet he told her how much she was worth, and she believed him. It was like giving him an extra bullet for every time he missed a shot. Thankfully, it was he who died, not she. She had a mental funeral that day and she walked away. Now she couldn't finally get on with her life. Skye sat in her office chair attempting to suppress the haunting memories of her past, though it was very difficult. But fortunately for Skye, she was distracted by tight deadlines and unnecessary paperwork. As a journalist, Skye was responsible for writing articles about relationships and sharing her experiences with her dedicated readers. Readers from across the world, both men and women, young and mature, would email Skye thanking her for providing them with the light under a gloomy tunnel. Like Plato's allegory of a cave, Skye saw her readers, who usually victims of detrimental relationships, as prisoners caged in a dark cavern, unable to think, to see, or comprehend the reality of their situation. They were often too brainwashed by their false ideologies injected by their narcissistic partners. This led many of them to feel suicidal, powerless, and even guilty. See, Skye wanted to change that. Her aim was to alter the negative perceptions many victims held about themselves, their self-doubts, and their low self-esteem. She felt accountable for them and wanted to be their voice too often. Skye would hear members of both sexes blame themselves and trivialize, or even worse, excuse their partner's behavior. It was exhausting, unacceptable. You see, domestic violence is real. It's a heinous crime which can leave you clinically depressed. Skye wanted confidence. She wanted a change in attitude and a change in perception, a growth mindset. Skye was acknowledged by her superiors for providing that change. Finally, she had discovered her life's purpose. Yes, the reason why God took her through the shadow of the death was purely to anoint her head with oil and prepare a table before her. This was her calling, her mission. Like a teacher, she felt compelled to direct people to the right path. She had to fight the injustice of abuse. It felt nice to have such power and influence, but it felt nicer to no longer undergo the maltreatment. Skye was now a leader, a survivor, and on top of that, she could finally work alongside her best friend Mia, which was an extra bonus. Skye swung around in her office chair and stared at her beautiful, curvaceous, dark-skinned friend who sat opposite her, ranting on about her boyfriend. Honestly, Skye wasn't paying any attention. Her mind was zoned out on how much she appreciated her best friend and childhood friend. Being in her presence alone was a blessing. Yes, a blessing which almost turned into a curse. And so Skye continued to gawk at Mia as she reflected on her journey and previous struggles. When life throws bricks and stones at her, God used those bricks to build a tower. He used Mia. Mia had literally been her safe haven throughout the past 8 years. She was her best friend and her confidant. You see, Skye immediately snapped back to reality when she heard Mia chuckle, having no idea what was funny. She attempted to force a laugh. Luckily, she was saved from embarrassment by her work colleague, Tom. Tom was one of those few men that worked in her company. He was an editor, and he also wrote blogs about travel and tourism. This meant Tom was a go-to person when it came to holiday deals and recommendations. As soon as he entered the office, Tom froze. His pale face heated up as he nervously flicked his jet black hair behind his ears, revealing his stubborn freckles and spectacles, which were too big for him. "Good morning, ladies," Tom greeted awkwardly, focusing solely on Mia. Skye giggled to herself as Mia discreetly rolled her eyes with annoyance. It was obvious that Tom had strong feelings for Mia. However, her friend was clearly not interested. She had tons of men declaring their love towards her, but her only interest was with one man. A boyfriend which Skye had never seen. "I need to go back to work," Mia mumbled. With that, she brushed past him without making any eye contact. Tom stood dumbfounded and puzzled by her aloofness. Mia always showed around him. Skye shook her head and chuckled again as she observed Tom foolishly following Mia in an attempt to initiate a conversation. "Right. Let me get back to work," Skye muttered, and she began to write the first chapter of her article titled Infatuation. Listen, guys, we haven't finished chapter 1 yet, but let me get some water. I don't know what you guys are thinking at the moment. What you lot saying? Listen, it's about to get interesting. Let's read on. All right, cool. So we're in a different scene now. We've got new characters about to be introduced, all right? Yeah, you got a little asterisk that comes on there, you know what I mean? That means a new scene and that. Do you know what I mean? Time has passed on, all right? Let's get a reading. All right, cool. Rachel observed her three friends laughing and celebrating Cecile's birthday. Chloe carried the cake towards Cecile and they all began to sing, "Happy birthday to you." "Thank you, ladies. We should do this more often. It's been ages," Cecile said emotionally as she blew out her candles on her personalized chocolate cake. She was grateful for her friends and continual and consistent effort in surprising her on her 28th birthday. "That's because you and Chloe are so caught up with your husbands," Rachel commented, hoping she did not sound as jealous as she felt. "You can talk. Anytime we phone you, you're always with Michael," Chloe laughed, which led to the whole congregation joining in agreement. Rachel rolled her eyes, as Michael was hardly husband material. In fact, the pair of them were so close they were practically family. "And when are you two going to get it together?" Paris asked, sounding like an inquisitive detective prying for answers. "Why? So you can go and steal him as well?" Chloe muttered underneath her breath. That was embarrassing, and the silence in the room as everyone tried to figure out what to say next. Rachel couldn't help but feel pained by the memory of her friend entertaining her ex-boyfriend via text message. At least it wasn't a letter. Paris had sworn to her that they were just business partners working on a project. Rachel had wanted to believe that, especially since the girls had known Rachel was only sleeping with him, but was also deeply infatuated by his mere presence. The fact that Paris would disrespect her by speaking with him or entertaining her ex when they were going through a rocky period seemed very hurtful. "Yeah, Rach, what's going on with you and Michael? You guys have been tiptoeing around each other since school days," remarked Cecile, breaking the heavy tension in the room. "We are not tiptoeing. We're just friends," Rachel replied defensively, knowing her friends were not entirely convinced. Hey, I know some of you lot got friends in it. I know some of you lot got friends that are like this. You understand? "So you're telling me you've never seen him in that way?" Paris added. "Never." "Well, I think you should give him a chance. You guys could be so cute together," Chloe stressed. "He's an engineer. You're a teacher. You are both musicians. He clearly loves you. It would just make sense if you two ended up together." "Agreed. Plus, he's far better than Ashley. That's for sure." As much as Rachel loved Cecile, she was not sure why her best friend would bring up her ex's name, knowing it caused so much discomfort amongst the girls. Ooh. I can't believe you're even going to lock me off him, you know. Paris interjected. Rachel was not sure how to respond to that comment either, but predictably, Chloe came clutch to the rescue. What do you mean you can't believe it? If I were Rachel, I would have had her locked off long time ago. I didn't even do anything. I told her not to go there, Paris whined. And what were you telling him, Chloe grilled? What were you telling him? And the girls glared pointedly at Paris, waiting for her response. Another awkward silence ensued. Girls, leave it. It's C's birthday. Let's change the topic, Rachel said uneasily, although she was not entirely convinced or what to talk about. The tension between the four girls grew heavy. It was clear neither Chloe nor Rachel liked or trusted Paris. But because it was C's birthday, the girls had no choice but to link up. Guys, this story is getting a bit deep, you know. People are out here taking ex-boyfriends and things. Rachel, on the other hand, could not wait to go home. Like Cecile, she hated confrontations. As a typical Libra, Rachel craved peace and harmony. She naturally shied away from anything or anyone that threatened her serenity. Rachel glared guiltily at the clock, hoping someone would comment on how late it was and call it an end to the night. I know whose birthday it is, and I'm just saying that's slack behavior, Chloe blurted out, completely ignoring the tension in the room. He told me, you guys. We're not even official, Paris responded, looking eagerly at Rachel, as though wanting sympathy. Rachel could not believe how contradictory Paris sounded. 1 minute, she claimed she hadn't done nothing. The next minute, she's excusing why she possibly may have done something. Paris, you don't touch, you don't talk to, you don't entertain another woman's man, let alone a friend's. That is cheap, inconsiderate, and a tramp. Don't you think he's laughing at you right now? One thing Rachel respected about her abrupt friend was her raw and unspoken personality. Chloe was far from diplomatic. She did not attempt to sugarcoat anything. In fact, most people were either intimidated by her or respected her direct approach. I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him. He complimented me and I said thanks. That's it. Babes, you said thanks, babes. With a kiss, Rachel corrected. I call everyone babes and I was just being polite. What exactly did you expect me to say? Don't say I'm pretty. Why not? You clearly gave him the impression that it was okay to speak to you like that. Don't mind her, Rachel. She's a gullible idiot. Probably thought he wanted to wife her, Chloe insulted. Rachel, I did not tell her to leave. Rachel, I did not tell you to leave him alone, Paris said, ignoring Chloe's sly comment. Now you want me to claim responsibility for his actions. I didn't want to hurt your feelings. That's why I didn't tell you. And you need to be having this conversation with him, your man, not me. I already have a daughter. Do you guys really think I have time to be chasing after people's man? Chloe snorted. I wouldn't put it past you, Rachel thought brashly to herself. Rachel had known Paris for almost 3 years. And from what she knew of the girl was a single mother with a lot of emotional baggage. Her daughter's father was in prison and had left Paris to struggle. Her mother was a single mother with a lot of emotional baggage. Her daughter's father was in prison and had left Paris to struggle independently on benefits. As a result, Paris was in desperate attempt for someone to father her child. This led to promiscuous behavior, which negatively impacted her daughter. Social services were deeply involved in safeguarding of this young girl after school had raised concerns regarding suspicion of child abuse and neglect. According to the child's school, Paris's daughter was severely underweight and malnourished, which were signs of parental neglect. There were also behavior indicators of a child maltreated observed by the daughter's teachers, such as developmental delay, withdrawal, and extreme low self-esteem. Consequently, Paris was monitored rigorously by social services and had to attempt parenting classes to prove her capability skills. That is when she met Cecile. The pair met on a bus and immediately began talking. Cecile instantly felt sorry for Paris and decided to exchange numbers. You girls out here who are feeling sorry for people and becoming their friends. Oh, that was 3 years ago. Paris had quickly adjusted herself into friendship group and no longer had social services breathing down her neck. It was almost an unspoken rule not to mention her past. Therefore, Rachel was unaware of the circumstances surrounding her daughter or how she managed to prove herself capable of looking after herself and her little girl. Despite unanswered questions, no one attempted to pry, as they knew it was a sensitive topic which could potentially open wounds. Knowing about Paris's history, Rachel could understand why her friend may have felt flattered when her ex-boyfriend demonstrated some sort of interest towards her. Can we just pause? Your ex-boyfriend's out here showing interest in another gal and you're angry at your own gal. You're angry at the girl. Look at that. Anyway, continue the story. According to Paris, she immediately, according to Paris, she innocently replied to his advances, but apparently was never intimate. In fact, based on her account of the story, they were just business partners working on an assignment. Nothing more, nothing less. We've heard that before. Rachel wanted desperately to believe that. She tried to block the thought of her ex touching, lusting after, or even kissing her friend. Surely she had the decency not to cross certain boundaries, and despite Paris' desperation for male attention, surely she had the sense not to degrade herself or jeopardize her reputation. Again, Rachel was still unsure what to believe. Nonetheless, it was comforting to believe that her friend had common courtesy or at least some type of self-respect. Paris, for future reference, do not refer to Jermaine as babes, Cecile said lightheartedly, bringing Rachel back from her thoughts. Rachel sniggered, as she knew her friend was far from joking. In fact, Cecile was as serious as a dog protecting their owner. It was no secret that Cecile was deeply engrossed with her own husband. The pair got married after 6 months of courtship. They fell in love instantly. Their love was affection for each other were displayed publicly on social media. They always attempted to broadcast their union by sharing and romantic images of their holidays, expensive dinners, and day-to-day living. Rachel, like many others, envied their relationship. Sounds like modern day, you know. She found it too sweet and endearing. It was almost like a fairy tale, a breath of fresh air. And the relationship also gave Rachel the assurance that true love did exist. In fact, Rachel hoped that one day she would find her special someone to fulfill those relationship goals. She was tired of being single and coming home to an empty house. Rachel could not wait to settle down. Libras were not particularly good at being single. In fact, they were the happiest when they were in a relationship. So you think I would have introduced her to my husband? Chloe mumbled rudely against cutting a slice of birthday cake. Whatever, guys. I already warned Rachel about him. It's not my fault. She doesn't listen. Anyway, I'm done talking about this. Can we change the subject, please? Rachel and Chloe exchanged disgusted looks and glances while Cecile shook her head in disapproval. Woo, guys, let me take another drink break. It's getting interesting in here. I'm just saying. It's getting interesting. Is it interesting? I'm just saying. Comment down below if it's interesting. Because where? I'm telling you right now. This is only chapter 1, you know. Chapter 1 is strong. I like it. Just to remind you guys again, this is dramatic reading. If you have a book or you have a fictional book out there that you want someone to read, listen, shout me. I'm here to do dramatic readings. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to do dramatic readings. You know what I'm saying? So if you got a book out there, send it to me or send a manuscript. I'll read it. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get people buying your books. You know what I'm saying? Let's get people buying your books. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's continue because chapter 1 ain't ended yet. Let's get back into the book. Let's get back into it. You understand? All right, cool. Again, the book is Infatuation by Francine Quaicoe. Let's get on the video. Back into the story. After long female drama at Cecile's house, Rachel decided to stop over at Michael's flat before heading to her own studio apartment. She rested her head comfortably on her friend's lap, whilst Michael gently ran his hands through her short, tight curls as though he were stroking a cat. Rachel closed her eyes peacefully and enjoyed her friend's company and warm embrace. The sounds of music from the 1900s filled the room whilst Michael's tender touch continued to caress her head and then trailed down her neck, eventually massaging the stiff joints in her shoulders. Rachel moaned softly to herself. Being alone with Michael was always peaceful and therapeutic. No drama, no unnecessary chit-chat, and definitely no negative vibes. Rachel always came to him when she needed an escape or just to clear her mind from a long day at work. She did not feel the need to force conversation or decorate herself. In fact, Rachel always felt at ease with him. She could not quite put a finger on it. Maybe it was the 18 years of friendship that glued them together, or maybe it was to do with the fact that they both shared a strong passion for music. Whatever the reason was, Rachel knew she could always count on her friend. She smiled as she inhaled his natural scent combined with his woody aftershave, which left a lingering smell in the room. "Babe, are you wearing J. Frank?" "Yeah. Do you like it?" "Just reminds me of him," Rachel replied, reminiscing on the warm, woody aftershave Ashley always used to spray, which had hints of tobacco, leather, and sandalwood. It smelt very masculine. "Must be something about the fragrance. I've been getting a lot of attention since I bought it." "Attention from who?" Rachel said inquisitively. No one. Just in general," Michael replied vaguely. Rachel lifted her head to observe his facial expression. However, she wasn't disappointed by his lack of response. She was disappointed by his lack of response. An empty poker face. Yes, it's on Amazon, guys. It's on Amazon. "Like who?" Rachel asked, hoping she did not sound too intrusive. No one. Just a random compliments here and there, you know. Why are you jealous?" "Who, me?" "You wish," Rachel mocked as she laid her head back on his lap. Michael was an attractive guy. Throughout his younger years, most girls would often throw themselves at him. It amused Rachel since Michael was oblivious to it. Unlike the average teenage boy, girls were never his priority. His focus had always been music, fitness, and his studies. If Michael was not in the studio or gym, then he could be found in the library studying for an exam or performing in front of large crowds. Rachel loved that about him. He was very popular, incredibly smart, and extremely humble. Can we just pause there? Hold on a minute. What kind of description is this? Ladies and gentlemen, what kind of description is this? If this is not your man, he's your best friend, and you're looking at him, all these qualities, saying that he's got all these things. The book is Francine Quaicoe, called Infatuation, guys. Infatuation. And what's going on? She's at the best friend's house. She's describing him as amazing, but she don't want to entertain the relationship. All right, cool. Let me read on. "So, is there anyone in the picture?" Rachel asked. "Nah, not really. Apart from the chick that I was telling you about." "What chick?" Although Rachel was used to Michael being in odd relationships, he had never been committed to anyone. He claimed it was because he was not ready. He wanted to invest and generate passive income before settling down. Rachel was mindful that one day he would settle down and replace her with somebody else, another woman. She was not sure how she felt about that. "No one. Don't worry. I don't think she's even interested in me anyway." "Well, you never know unless you ask." Scene pause. Whew. Cover. It's getting interesting, isn't it? It's getting interesting. All right. It's getting interesting. Just in case you guys want to know what the book is, it's called Infatuation. Okay. It's on Amazon. Okay. So I'm going to send you guys. It's on Amazon. Let me get a link for you guys. Yeah. It's on Amazon. Okay. Yeah. We're going to continue reading in a second, guys. We're going to continue reading in a second. All right. It's wavy. That's the link there, guys, as well. Yeah. Get that link. Okay, guys, it's called Infatuation. Okay, Infatuation by Francine Quaicoe. Okay, get it on Amazon. You can buy the book. Let's continue the reading. We've got a new scene. Okay, let's continue the reading. We've got a new scene as well, guys. If you have a book that you want me to read, let me know, and we'll do a dramatic reading of the book. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Oh my God. We're back to Skye now. Okay. A river of blood poured out of Skye as she continued to express her anger and pain on paper. This was the first time the world was about to hear her story, the raw truth. Skye sat on the edge of the bed reflecting on her journey. It was so gradual, yet calculated. And on reflection, it was clear to her that her ex-husband craved power. He had done everything in his manhood, maintain his dominance and control. One of his strategies he deployed was isolating Skye from her entire family and her friends, making her totally reliant on him. And she thought back to the day he drove a wedge between her and her friend Mia. I don't feel comfortable around Mia, he said as soon as Skye returned home from work on a Friday afternoon. It's a flashback, baby. Why not, Skye asked, puzzled, putting her bags down and kicking her shoes off her feet. I don't know. I just get the impression that she's kind of envious of you. Like, I don't think she actually really likes you either. Why do you think that? I might be wrong, but she appears jealous and she seems a bit manipulative still. It's as if like she just wants your life. Like, I don't think you should be friends with someone that's like that, you know. What makes you think she wants my life? Skye asked, giving a nervous laugh, not knowing where all this was coming from. Because you have everything that she hasn't, and she's always complaining about that. Like, for example, you have a beautiful family, a successful career, a man that loves you. She, on the other hand, can't keep a relationship, let alone a job. That's a bit harsh. You know I'm right though, innit? You know I'm right. I just want you to be careful around her. She has done everything and anything. Has she done anything to make you say that? She asked. Now, her husband seemed uneasy. It was as though he was hiding something, which made Skye feel incredibly apprehensive and suspicious. Yeah. But you know what? Don't worry about it. He hesitated. I don't want to really break your friendship. You guys are like sisters, right? And all I'm kind of saying is just be careful around Mia. Don't reveal too much around her. What did she do? Nothing. Just leave it. I don't want to come between you two of you, man. That's just you. That's your best friend, innit? However, Skye could and would not leave it. She continued to persist. Okay, I'll tell you, but please don't get mad. I'm sure it was all innocent. He trailed off as though unsure whether to disclose the news to his wife. Basically, when you went to work, Mia came to the house drunk and emotional. I asked her what happened, and she revealed to me that her boyfriend broke up with her. I tried to comfort her, but I think she took it the wrong way. What do you mean she took it the wrong way? Skye interrupted. What did you do? Her blood began to boil. She was not sure whether she was prepared to hear what was to follow. I promise you, I didn't do anything. She tried to kiss me, but she tried to do what? I know it sounds crazy. When I rejected her, she became furious and started insulting you, saying I could do better. What? Skye could not believe her ears. That did not sound like Mia she knew. But why would her husband lie? Trust me, Skye, I was just as confused as you were. Like, immediately after she left, she phoned me to apologize and begged me not to tell you. Apparently, it was the drink that Skye didn't want to hear anymore. Anger, betrayal, and resentment filled her heart. Without delay, she picked up her phone and confronted her friend. Expectedly, Mia denied it. She defended herself by saying she just came to the house to get food as she was hungry. Mia was disappointed and perplexed that her friend would accuse her and believe such foolishness from her husband. To her, there was clearly no trust on Skye's side. Her best friend should have known better. After that, the childhood friends lost all form of communication and decided to go on their separate paths. Skye's husband has successfully and unsympathetically turned the girls against each other. Now Skye was all alone, just where he wanted her. Pooh! Chapter 1 done out here. Chapter 1 done out here, guys. Ooh. Chapter 1 done. I don't know. What are you lot thinking? Talk to me. Chapter 1's done. Talk to me. What did you guys think of chapter 1? Let me hear some of your comments. If you guys comment on here as well, let me know. What's you guys' comments on chapter 1 so far? If you've stayed in, it's a mazzoline right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's a mazzoline. Hey, whoo! Woo, boy, chapter 1 was moving wild. Listen. Man. I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it, man. Boy, my man has set the thing. Man said, listen, I'm going to play my girl and make you lose a friend. You understand? It's a Mazzoline, bruv. Now, I was only going to read chapter 1, innit? I was going to read... Maybe I should read a little chapter... How long is chapter 2, though? How long is chapter 2? Why? I mean, I want to finish the book, you know. Alright, chapter 2 is not long. I can read it. Chapter 2 is not long. Let's read it. And this will be the last chapter I read, yeah? Chapter 1 and 2, get a little, you know, chapter 1 and 2, get for you guys, okay? Princess, we finished the chapter now. We're in chapter 2 now. We're going to chapter 2, guys, okay? Book is Infatuation by Francine Quaicoe, guys. Listen, it's deep right now. It's deep right now. You understand? Man drove a wedge between his wife and their best friend. Get some water. All right, let's take it to chapter 2. Appreciate you, Tracy. Appreciate you. Let's take it to chapter 2, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take it to chapter 2. Again, guys, let me know. If there's any books that you guys think will be a good read, send that to me. If you've got your own book that you want someone to read, fictional, send it to me. You understand? Fictional book, whatever, send it to me, guys. I will happily do a reading for you guys. Let's get into it, okay? Chapter 2. Are you ready, guys? Chapter 2. He who searches for evil must first look at his own reflection. Cecile opened her front door and was welcomed by the overwhelming scent of alcohol and cannabis. It had been a while since her home had smelled so intoxicating. Jermaine knew fully well that she despised the scent of weed, and he was often very respectful towards that. Well, only when he was in a good mood with her, which had been the case recently. In fact, since the beginning of her birthday month, Jermaine had been extremely attentive towards her. Each morning, he'd shower her with expensive gifts, prepare breakfast in bed, give her complimentary massages with scented oils and candles. In fact, yesterday, he even excused himself and allowed Cecile to spend quality time with her girls whilst he locked himself in the bedroom. When Cecile arrived in their bedroom, Jermaine had surprised her with a mountain of premium roses laid out neatly on the floor and a bottle of Caribou Martini placed in an ice bucket. Whew. Jermaine was very romantic and charming when he wanted to be. He knew how to cater to his woman's needs and speak her love language. A couple weeks after they met, Jermaine declared his love towards Cecile and asked her to move in to his luxurious flat. The pair got married 6 months later. Who's calling me, bruv? Listen, this is not the time. This is not the time. It's not the time. My friend, it's not the time. It's not the time to call me. Who's calling me at this hour? It's only 10 o'clock in the morning. All right, cool. Let's continue the story. You understand? In Ballamore. All right, cool. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know who's calling me at this time, innit? Anyway, continue the story. Let me read back first. A couple weeks later, after they met, Jermaine declared his love towards Cecile and asked her to move into his luxurious flat. The pair got married 6 months later. Cecile's mother was always skeptical about the fast-paced relationship. And at first refused to honor their marriage. But then she realized how financially successful Jermaine was. Yeah. Thereafter, Jermaine blessed his mother-in-law account without fail. The exact amounts were never discussed, but it was enough to alter the perception of him. People have money, oh. Not only did Jermaine spoil Cecile financially, but the way he looked after her and protected her reassured Cecile of his love. Jermaine wanted her all to himself and was extremely jealous over his love. Jermaine wanted her all to himself and was extremely jealous of his wife, Cecile found that to be very sweet and endearing. She had never been with anyone that loved her so deeply or fulfilled all her marital and material and emotional needs. However, that of course was accompanied with a price which Cecile had not yet disclosed to anyone, not her mother and definitely not her best friend Rachel. Cecile dumped the groceries on the floor and switched the living room lights on to find her husband staring into space with a blunt in his hand and an empty glass on the floor. "Babe, what's wrong? Are you okay?" she asked, rushing towards him, only to be slapped with silence. Cecile's mind raced, wondering whether she had done anything wrong. She could not think of anything to deserve his hostility. The house was impeccable, there was food in the oven, the laundry was done, she had come home from the weekly food shopping. "Jay, are you okay? Did I do anything wrong?" Cecile asked. However, he continued to remain silent and mute. Cecile had learned very quickly that it was best to give Jermaine his space when he was like that. His mood swings were sporadic. Cecile could never predict which of his personas would emerge. It was as though he had a different personalities inside of him. And Cecile recalled a moment when he buried her head in food and almost choked her to death after she persistently asked why he was giving her the cold shoulder. Oh my God. Later, he surprised her by buying her the latest Mercedes C-Class and booking a romantic spa break to Paris. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. Who? Cecile was not sure whether to continue sitting by his side or start cleaning up the mess. Just as she was about to get up and leave, he blurted out, "I lost my job." "What? Why? What happened?" Cecile asked, sitting herself back down. She had not expected that. Usually when Jermaine was unreceptive, it was due to stress and the pressures of work. Now he had lost it? They said they needed to cut the budgets and let go. Why did they choose... Cecile did not finish her sentence as she saw Jermaine's muscles tensing up and his face hardening, daring her to ask a stupid question. Can't you complain? I mean, if you think it is unfair dismissal, then surely you can go to the HR or the union. She began gently rubbing his shoulders. Jermaine sighed and shook his head. I'm sorry, babe. Listen, you're going to find something. You're qualified, experienced, and competent. Plus, you got more than enough money in your savings and your side business as a backup. You'll be fine. I've got you. Cecile continued to reassure him whilst trying to figure out how exactly she was going to support the both of them. She realized she may need to take extra hours at the salon or work jobs in order to maintain her lavish lifestyle. You see, guys, you have to work. If your husband loses his job, who's going to pay the bills? Huh? Who's going to pay the bills? We're taking a quick break. Oh. If you lot are not deep in what's going on right now, it's mad. Right now, it's mad what's going on. Yeah? It's mad what's going on right now. I'm telling you, it's mad what's going on right now. Yeah? If you missed it, what was happening was, old girl out here, yeah, trying to support her husband, he's abusive. He slapped her head into a pile of food of cereal before. Not now, before. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's mad. Anyway, let's read on. You know what I'm saying? Let's read on. Okay. Skye was just finishing off some remaining dishes when suddenly the phone rang. She stared nervously at her mysterious number, trying to think of who might be calling her at 9:30 in the evening. After several minutes of gazing blankly at her screen, she picked it up. Silence filled the phone line. Skye strained her ears, trying to investigate any background noises. All she could hear were footsteps rustling across the pavement and the sound of heavy rain beating the ground. Probably a wrong number, she thought unconvincingly as she pressed the red button. Toot-oop. The phone rang immediately after she hung up. This time, Skye stared at her phone as though it were a snake ready to bite her. Who was it? Why would anyone be calling her at this time? And why would he or she try to conceal their number? Skye had purposely changed her number to avoid getting unwanted calls. At first, she was unsuccessful as the mysterious calls continued. It got to a point of blatant harassment, a malicious and vindictive act with the intention to intimidate. Skye did not need to second guess who it was. She immediately contacted her phone company to inquire whether it was possible for anyone to trace her new number. They assured her that it was impossible. However, Skye didn't take any chances. Her ex-husband was very cunning and malicious, and the biggest fraudster she knew. He was capable of doing anything. Skye had to remain switched on and alert at all times. Expectedly, she purchased a brand new phone, and after that, the mysterious calls stopped. In fact, it had been a year since she had received any prank calls. Skye even underwent a major transformation, altering her appearance by cutting off, snip, her long hair in a short cropped look, in a pixie style. She was determined to change everything about her image. You see, she didn't want to be recognized, nor have any reminder of her past. Skye also trained her children to remain vigilant and sharp. You see, they were not allowed to have any social media accounts, stay over at friends' houses, or share their home address with anyone. Her girls were so well trained that they even memorized her phone number in case of an emergency. Whew, this is a lot. Skye did not take any chances when it came to her children. They were all she had. Skye allowed the phone to ring though, but the caller was persistent. Grrr, 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 grrr. They continued to harass her line almost as though they were screaming for her to pick up. And after several attempts, Skye answered the phone, hoping it was some silly kids messing around or a cold caller working at unsociable hours. Instead, she was greeted by heavy breathing and the sound of thunder and lightning and rain. Not again, she thought miserably. You think you got away with it? Hissed a deep, husky voice. Skye's stomach churned. She knew whom that voice belonged to. She placed her hand on her stomach to prevent herself from throwing up and inhaled a couple of breaths. How did you get my number? Skye managed to ask in a low, squeaky voice, hoping she sounded calm and collected, although her hands were trembling as if she was having a seizure. Don't worry about how I got your number. You can't get away from me, Skye. I'm in your head. The mysterious caller laughed, making every hair on her neck stand. Skye was livid, and that she had such an enormous and terrifying power come over her. She did not trust herself to speak, as she feared her tone may give her. She did not trust herself to speak, as she feared her tone may give away how petrified she felt. How had he got her number? Why couldn't he just leave her alone? You're a dead woman. You thought you could just run away and take my kids? Are you mad? Those are my kids, you know. And I'm going to come to your house, slice you up, put my dick inside of put my dick inside the girls. You must think you're dealing with some idiot boy. Hold on a minute. I need to just pause. I'm sorry. I need to pause. I'm sorry. I need to pause. I don't know what I just read. I don't know what I just read. Wait a minute. Let me take that scene again, because that scene just threw me all sorts of off. I'm sorry. I know it's a dramatic reading, but that threw me all off. Okay, let's go back. That threw me all off. All right, cool. How did you get my number? Skye managed to ask in a low, squeaky voice, hoping she sounded calm and collected, although her hands were trembling as if we're having a seizure. Don't worry about how I got your number. You can get away from me, Skye, but I'm in your head. The mysterious caller laughed, making every hair on her neck stand. Skye was livid. She was livid that she had had an enormous, terrifying power come over her. She did not trust herself to speak, as she feared her tone may give away how petrified she felt. How had he got her number? Why couldn't he just leave her alone? You're a dead woman. You thought you could run away and take my kids? Are you mad? Those are my kids, you know. I'm going to come to your house, slice you up, put my dick inside the girls. You must think you're dealing with some idiot boy. Skye felt sick. She should have known this day would come. Luckily, she was prepared. And Skye ran hurriedly to her bedroom to grab a hold of a gun she had been hiding for many years. She quickly switched the lights off and silently directed her children, who were busily finishing off their homework, to their bedroom. In fear, Skye paced the front door to ensure all the doors were locked. Just then, she heard a faint howling sound coming from outside her kitchen window, and then tap, 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 on the window glass. Skye looked up, and something moved swiftly. She wasn't sure whether it was the wind blowing through the tree branches or her mind playing tricks on her. From the corner of her eye, she could see the kitchen curtains be blowing gently from the cold, wintry breeze. The kitchen window was left slightly ajar. A cold, wet chill ran up her spine. Skye was sure that she had left the windows open. She panicked. Someone must be inside the house. Skye immediately ended the call and placed the phone on her counter. She called out to her children. No answer. She had to get them out of the house, and she ran to her bedroom but could not find them. Where the fuck are... Whoa! I just almost swore. I'm so sorry. This is Jesus PG. I'm so sorry, guys. I got into it. I'm sorry. I got into the story. Where the F are they? She cried in dismay. Her heart began to race as she listened carefully and attentively for the footsteps of any indication of an intruder. Nothing. All she could hear was her own heart breathing, her own heart beating, and the thumping of her heart. Girls, she hollered, screaming every... Well, friend, hey, listen, it's getting wild. I'm so sorry. Let me go back. Sorry, I'm sorry, guys. Let me take it seriously. All she could hear was her own heart beating and thumping. Girls, she hollered, searching every area of the house. Silence. Girls, please, where are you? No answer. Girls, mommy is calling you. Stop playing games, Skye pleaded. Just then, she could have sworn she heard a muffled scream. Ah! It was almost as though her children were tied up somewhere and crying for her help. Skye's heart sank. She prepared her gun and moved closer to where she perceived the scream to be coming from. Whew. Let me take a breather. Let me take a pause. Whoo! Blood, listen. It's getting deep. It's getting deep. Whoo! My God, Skye is in trouble, guys. Okay? Skye's in trouble. New scene. New character. Cecile, we're dealing with now. Cecile attempted to drag herself from the bed. It felt like a huge toil. Today was her first cleaning shift, and already she felt exhausted. She was groggily sat up and gazed through the foggy window, which reminded her of the dark, wintry dry ahead. The texture of her sheets against her skin felt like a grandma's hug on a warm, sunny day, contrasting with the unholy mixture of shale grey clouds and pasty streaks, announcing that a heavy, cold climate was dispersing through the city. Cecile was not looking forward to stepping outside and experiencing London's cold weather. She glanced enviously at her husband, who lay asleep like a puppy in a basket. Usually it was Jermaine who dragged his feet in the morning, while Cecile playfully teased him to bed. Now it looked as though the tables had turned. Just as Cecile was about to bend forward to give her husband a kiss, she realized Jermaine had her phone clutched in his hand. What the hell are you doing with my phone? Cecile thought to herself, feeling agitated. It did not take a genius to figure out that her husband once again was snooping on her. Ooh, back to Skye, guys. Back to Skye. Strap in. Skye frantically opened the store cupboard and prepared her gun. She knew she was getting ready to aim and fire just as she had been instructed. However, nervousness filled her stomach and her heart began to race even more rapidly. Skye was terrified of what she was about to see or whom she was about to encounter. Suddenly, just as she entered the dark, abandoned attic, a musty, unpleasant smell hit her nostrils. It smelled like a corpse. And Skye had not visited the room since moving in. It was just too depressing. There was always an eerie atmosphere inside, as though someone had died and had their spirits lurking around. It felt haunted. And after a thorough but quick observation, Skye was about to speed off until she saw a strange-looking doll staring at her. The doll looked familiar. Its unblinking eyes penetrated her soul, making Skye feel even more anxious. There was something peculiar. Her soul. It was unsettling about the position of the doll and the intensity of its gaze. It looked premeditated. The doll continued to glaze brazenly in her eyes as though hypnotizing her. As if spellbound, Skye moved closer to the mannequin. A post-it note was attached to it. Skye moved closer to the mannequin. A post-it note. In bold, writ, "You forgot to take me with you." Skye froze. Her eyes peered carefully through the dark room, trying to observe the signs of an intruder, or most importantly, her children. Again, she could not find either. Rather, she was overwhelmed by the eerie silence that sped into the room. Where are they? And how did he gain entry? How long had he been in the house? Skye thought worriedly. Stop trying to play detective and just contact the police, Skye, she said to herself. Marching out the room, Skye could feel her watchful eyes following her. She slammed the door and paced into the kitchen to grab her phone. However, she couldn't find it. This was not the time to be careless. Where the F did she leave it? Skye was pretty sure that she had left her phone by the counter, but for some strange reason, it was not there. She continued searching desperately for her Samsung Galaxy. Just then, a deafening thud sound in the store cupboard. Something had dropped. Skye's mind clouded. It was blurred. Immediately, a scream followed. Ah! It got louder and louder, sounding like a baby who had just lost its bottle. Skye could not think clearly, let alone pinpoint where exactly in the attic the sound was coming from. Skye felt helpless. Hang in there! Mummy's coming for you, she prayed, hoping no harm had come to her children. She was not sure whether to rescue her babies or contact the police first. She felt indecisive, flustered and confused. In the end, she ran to the living room and dialed 999. Skye waited impatiently for the phone operator to direct her to the police. She tapped her feet intolerantly and annoyed at how it was taking long for the emergency staff to answer the bloody phone. Seconds later, Skye realized the phone lines had been cut. There was a dead end, no dialing tone. Skye panicked, unable to help, but feel as though she was in the middle of a horror film, with a trespasser studying her every move and plotting a strategic scheme against her. What do you want from me? Leave me the hell alone, she wanted to scream, just as she was about to turn around and a tall shadow appeared behind with a pair of eyes fixed on her. Woo! Guys, we haven't even finished chapter 2 yet. I'm talking so much my lip is dry. Listen, we haven't finished chapter 2 yet. It's getting deep in here. It's getting deep in here. My God. It's getting deep in here, isn't it? My God. It's almost done. We're almost done, guys. Ooh, guys, as well, listen. This is a book by Francine Quaicoe, okay? Please go and buy the book, okay? I'm going to read in 2 chapters and then we'll get another book to read, all right? Francine Quaicoe, okay? It's called Infatuation, all right? Go out, grab the book, okay? All right? Go and buy the book. Get deep. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving effects, but get deep, all right? Cool. This is the last part of chapter 2, guys. Strap in for the final part of chapter 2. Cecile felt violated that Jermaine would shamelessly invade her privacy and snoop through her phone without her permission. He clearly had no respect for her personal space or her personal boundaries. Cecile snatched the phone from her husband's lifeless hands, which woke him up. "What are you doing?" he asked woozily. "Collecting my phone? Why did you have it in your hand?" "I was just checking something." "What were you checking?" "Nothing," he replied casually before drifting back to sleep. Cecile's blood boiled. She felt exasperated for constantly having to reset her password because of Jermaine's outlandish insecurities. Where there is smoke, there is fire. Cecile was concerned that Jermaine was purposely trying to look for fire despite there being any smoke. It was as though he was trying to get an excuse to get burnt or possibly to put her out. Back to Skye, guys. Back to Skye, guys. A sensation of terror ran through Skye and a cold sweat began to break all over her body. She was petrified. She slowly turned around and within a split second was face to face with a rough-looking man whose skin was unkempt and his hair was all over his face with layers of grime. She screeched in horror. The man revealed a devilish grin. Exposing half of his broken teeth, the pistol from her hand slipped through her sweaty grip and fell onto the wooden floor with a loud bang. And after her self-defense lessons and relationship advice, Skye still felt vulnerable. She was all the same timid woman under the control of a sadistic husband. Who was I kidding? I will never be free, she thought pitifully to herself. Where are the kids? Skye muttered. The man continued to stare at her menacingly. You mean my kids, he corrected, raising a 7-inch blade and placing it right underneath her throat. Skye's eyes widened with horror, her mouth rigid and open. Adrenaline surged through her as she began to tease her seductively with the sharp object. Skye was certain he was about to kill her, slice her up, and watch her die while he shoved his penis inside. God damn! As soon as the thought emerged, a burst of power electrified her, interrupting her sickening imagery of someone molesting her children. Suddenly, Skye's alarm screamed for her to wake up. Her heart was pounding from the disturbing dream. Oh, god damn. Flip! She thought as she sat up in her bed, with cold sweats running down her face. Flip! It felt so real. She could still feel his presence and sense of aura. She reached out her phone and realized it was only 5 o'clock in the morning. Skye quickly pressed the snooze button and contacted Mia, who had been her clutch and her crutch throughout the entire journey. After several rings, Mia eventually picked up. It felt so good to hear her friend's voice. Mia, can you stay up with me? Skye pleaded. Are you still having dreams, babe? Mia asked sleepily. Yeah, I am. Can you stay on the line, please? I want to catch some extra sleep before I wake up officially. Mia observed her instructions, and she sang a sweet gospel song until Skye drifted back to sleep. I surrender all to you. Everything I give to you. Withholding nothing, withholding nothing, go to sleep, baby. Alright, that is the end of episode 2, chapter 2. Blah, blah. I can't read it anymore because that's going to be the book. You understand? If you listen, that was a book by Francine Quaicoe. That's only chapter 2. Guys, listen, it gets deep. I know it's a dream, but it gets deep, guys. I know it's a dream, but it gets deep, guys. You have to read the rest of the book to understand what the dream is there for. Okay? You have to read the rest of the book to understand why the dream is there, guys. Okay? All right? Okay? All right? Okay? All right? Okay? All right? Listen, it's Mazzoline. How did you guys find it? Did you enjoy the dramatic reading? Guys, I want to say, I like this, This was fun. I remember back to my acting days. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, I can't tell you, Jen. I don't want to spoil the story. It could be that she's sentenced in danger. It could be, that she actually saw it. She could be reliving an old thing. I just can't say what it is. I need you to buy the book. I need you to go to Amazon and buy the book, guys. Go to Amazon and buy the book. Go and buy the book, guys. Whoo, man. Yo, that book had me doing bits, bruv. Listen, we need another book, guys. Okay, because I can only read a few chapters. If I read a whole book, I don't know. One day we'll get a whole book we'll read, innit? Do you get me? But listen, Tracy, you said obviously your book. Tracy, if you've got the book, send it to me. Tracy, message me on Insta, so I can send you my address. And now I'll get the book. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Tracy, message me. You get me? Tracy, go with. It depends how long it is. If it's long, because this one's kind of long, isn't it? 3 chapters, 4 chapters. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you guys got a manuscript or something that you're starting, listen, send it to me. I want to read it. You know what I'm saying? I want to read it for you guys. You know what I'm saying? So they asked me, have I slept? No, I've not slept. I've not slept. I'll sleep later on tonight. You understand? I'll sleep later on tonight. But yeah, if you guys got a book or a manuscript, or you got a friend's book that you think I should read, send it to me, guys. Listen, don't let me buy it, guys. I'm gonna spend so much money on buying books, guys. Just send it to me. You know what I'm saying? Send it to me. Send it to me, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I can, get it going. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna love you and leave you, guys. It's been good. I will let you know what the next book is. As well. Do I read graphic novels? Depends how graphic it is, Princess. What, I don't know what graphic even means. Does that mean graphic naughty, or is that graphic in terms of pictures? I don't understand. What does that mean? What is graphic? I'm not very versed on these words. Let me type in Google. What is graphic novel? What's a graphic novel? What is a graphic novel? Graphic novel. What is that? Oh, yeah. Graphic novel. Yeah, we'll read graphic novels as well. Children's book, graphic novel, whatever you lot want, you lot have, man. Let's get it, and I'll start, you know what I'm saying? Man, it was, man, this was deep, man. Yeah, I can read comic books as well. Yeah, let me know. Send it to me, Princess Pop. Yeah, I mean, guys, honestly, Francine, she got me, man. She got me deep, man. She got me deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, listen, again, I feel like I drained a little bit, I feel a little bit drained, like honestly, because like, it was a lot. It's emotionally captivating, so it gets you deep inside the book, you know what I'm saying? It gets you really engrossed in the book, and then you have to feel certain emotions, and I think that's what really got me about the book. I love the fact that you're thrown into drama pretty early. I like books that you're thrown into drama straight away. Like, I don't want to waste time. You know what I'm saying? I like to be in drama straight away. I like to be in drama straight away as well. So, for me, I like it, man. You know what I'm saying? I like it, man. Do you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Do you know what? I've got someone's old manuscript, I've got someone's old manuscript. Let me read something to you guys. See what you don't think. Last 5 minutes, I want to read a little manuscript to you guys. Okay. Let me read it to you. I'm not going to tell you what the name of the manuscript. Someone sent me this. Says they haven't finished their work yet, so I'll just read the first part. See what you guys think. I've got a manuscript of someone that sent it to me. It hasn't been fully edited or anything, but I'm going to read it to you guys. Yeah. We'll just do a little chapter 1 for you guys. See what you lot think. Okay. All right. Cool. Because I see that you guys are a little bit hungry for something to read. So let me read a little something. Yeah. All right, cool. Chapter 1. Yeah? I'm saying the boys and the girls can't be friends, repeated frankly, putting a forkful of Chinese in his mouth. Light-skinned Chris laughed. So you of all people be affirming that as a theory? He's got a point though, chipped in Dwayne. Why? Questioned Franklin, already knowing where his options were going. You mean Kayla? Franklin afforded himself a grin and let the guys deliver their blows to the notion he brought forward. It was nothing new to him. He had expected their quick-fire responses about his work colleague and his best friend. After all, he was living proof that this theorization was correct. He had been quote-unquote friends with Kayla for a long time, and ever since he laid his eyes on her, he wanted her. Yet, the friend zone had become very familiar. A very familiar setting he just never looked to get past. They were platonic friends, and platonic relationships is the way they will stay. Yo, I believe what that, like, obviously, I believe what that, that man shouldn't be alone in that, you understand? I believe that man shouldn't be alone, you know what I'm saying? I'm incapable of having friendships, a man them saying they can't have friendships with girls. What are you trying to say? Added Monique, greeting everybody at the table individually, mimicking the boys. You know what, yeah? Being a mother at home and here isn't easy, she added. I don't know what mother leaves their kids at a restaurant for hours unattended, teased Dwayne. Yeah, I do, jumped in LS Chris. Shut up, Chris, shouted everyone in tandem. What? Smiled Chris deviously. Anyway, I'm trying to hear the rest of this theory, bro. Franklin cleared his throat, wiped his lips, and the white napkin beside his tidied plate, and began to speak. So, you see, relationships, they're built on attraction. And there seems to be 4 types: physical, interpersonal, sexual, and spiritual. To make a friendship work, you need the interpersonal attraction and a person's spiritual attraction. Franklin put his arm around his best friend Dwayne. For instance, me and Dwayne, we're not attracted to each other. Yeah? What? replied Dwayne. If you're swinging a different way, can you speak to me, bro? Listen to me. Just flow with me, bro. Flow with what I'm saying, pressed Franklin. We are attracted to each other, let's say, for instance. Or we're drawn to each other, right? Yeah? Like, we share and do the same things, etc., etc. And that's interpersonal attraction. Yet, what is to stop our relationship from becoming sexual or physical attraction? Dwayne, ain't your boy going on a bit suspect? Boomed LS Chris. Exactly, surged Franklin, talking like a light bulb had gone off in his head. There's literally a physical barrier, bro. You understand? Prohibiting that kind of friendship ever escalating and becoming sexual. That's what I'm trying to tell you, bro. So between a man and a woman, that barrier doesn't exist. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Said Chris. Exactly, Monique. Sorry. Between a man and a woman, that barrier doesn't exist. Said Monique, asked all inquisitive. Exactly, Monique. That barrier doesn't exist. So as long as two participants are heterosexual, so what happened to self-control, please? And what about if you're ugly to me but a great friend? Question Monique. Wow. Is that what we're saying now? So you're saying in same-sex friendships, we don't have to worry about the barrier because so long as you're heterosexual, you can never consider a same-sex friend in the same fashion. Exactly, said Franklin, doing a little dance with himself. I'm not sure about this, chimed in Shaniqua, finally adding her contribution. You feel me, Shani? I'm not sure what they actually understood, said Monique. That is why we call you Monique, because you don't understand certain things. Robert smirked. Chris, listen, I know you ain't dropping jokes when your passport is green and you're here on a student visa. You shouldn't be talking about the subject. You should focus on getting your visa correct. You understand? You're on rocky ground. Don't be coming for nobody around there. Secure your stay before you send for me, bantered Robert. The banter level went from 0 to 100. Yeah. And see, Robert, Chris, Franklin had been friends for years. And they had a smile on their face because this was usual banter for them. It was an odd family, but nobody wanted it any other way. This was their local spot, The Duck, a sweet Chinese restaurant, which looked like grandeur inside than the outside. The banter was the order of the menu, so you needed a thick skin to stay around. There was no punches held, and there was no repercussion. There was no remorse held. Oh, I think they need to edit that. What was that again? Remember again? There was, banter was the order of the menu, and you needed thick skin to stay around. There was no punches held here. And if your personal story got out, just know it was going to be used against you within visible reason. All right. Their second year anniversary of the company they created called Creative Ents was coming up in July for their second year anniversary. And they were having a huge birthday bash to celebrate their success. He could remember the first time he met Dwayne, the successful kickboxer, and how they instantly clicked. Their main common goal was that they had to be successful amongst other things. Fast forward almost a year and they were heading into different universities. And it was as though Dwayne attended DMU, Leicester, that he met flatmates then. Business partners now. Oof. It's almost been a few years since that day. Chris and Robert were also business partners, but good friends. The four of them were educated, willful, overcoming young black males with the same goal, making something of yourself. Fast forward a few months. They put their money together and bought their first house to renovate and sell on. It sounded like a dream, but it was their reality. They sacrificed nights out, eating well, and spending frivolously on loan drop days. Some of them even took loans at the bank to fund their deposits and extra costs. But that's another story for another day. But now they were here, living it up, enjoying it. And Monique, a friend of Dwayne's, headed their HR department. So you knew she don't play when it comes to them things. Shani was one of two twins. Yeah, they brought Shani in for operations management. She was the event creator. When it came to anything to do with events, these twins knew how to put it down. The whole team was bigger than this, but this was the core unit. They were an exclusive A team. Maybe B team sometimes, but A team is probably a stretch, I think. But Franklin was grateful for his family. He was grateful for his friends. And he was grateful for the support they gave him. And so the second year anniversary was something he wanted to celebrate with his people and make sure they turned up. Cool. You know that women cheat more than men, stated Dwayne passionately. Shanika kissed her teeth. You mean men can lie? They can lie. And when you're caught, you act like, boy, you don't even know what happened. Please stop. Shani, how many sugar daddies have you got again? Said Dwayne. How did you forget to count yourself, Chris? Yeah, Chris is here, not securing a passport. He's now got a baby mother too with you, Shani. Shani kissed her teeth and said, allow it. That's not my life. You know me and Chris are just friends. Oh, hooted everyone around the table. Sugar, banana, sweet cinnamon, apple, my custard delight, joked Dwayne. Hey, this is kind of funny. Robert again got onto Chris and said, listen, bro, Chris, you know that obviously you got a baby mother, you're close to being deported, like you really should keep your banter to a minimum. I've told you already, brother, you're one call away from being deported. Wow. Can't keep up with the trends, we deport them, sang the table. Franklin looked down at his phone. Kayla, 10:10. Kayla, come over. 10:11, Franklin replied. Still at dinner. 10:11, Kayla replied back. Who with? Dwayne. 10:12, Franklin messaged again. Mate, it's late. 12 o'clock. Thumbs up. 10:13, Kayla replied back. I need feeding. Whew, bloody hell. Tanisha... Yo, this story's getting... Ooh! This story's getting onto the mad thing, you know. This story's getting onto the madness, fam. This story's getting onto the madness. All right, cool. Let me continue. Franklin excused himself from the table and headed in the direction of the bar. He was quietly confident he knew what she wanted from him. Franklin reached the bar and sat down, waiting for Tanisha to arrive beside him. This secrecy was all about the twin sister Kanisha. Kanisha was one of two twins as well. So there was two twins in this family. Kanisha and Tanisha. There was Shani and Shanae. God damn. Whenever he saw them together, whenever he saw Kanisha and Tanisha together, he just automatically assumed something was about to go down. Yeah, he believed boys and girls couldn't be friends. But when Tanisha was with him, oh, I've read that wrong. Sorry, guys, I read that wrong. The secrecy was all because of the twin Kanisha, who was other half of Tanisha. And there were two sets of twins within the family. There was Shani and Shanae also. Man, Franklin said to himself, I really don't believe boys and girls can actually be friends, you know. But then he had to say to himself, but Tanisha's my really good friend. And Tanisha was a figure of caramel perfection, and he was an alpha male, supposedly. Councillor Franco greeted Tanisha, taking a seat next to him. 10:10, he said back. Tanisha nudged him playfully with her shoulder as he ordered a soft drink from the barman. Spill the beans, said Tanisha. Tanisha turned away from the bar to face Franklin. We are done. Like, it's finally over. Like, you were so right about him not treating me as I needed to be. Franklin took a sigh. Wait, what? You mean you've actually finally dumped him? You're not going to go back? Ooh. She said, wait, you know that I had to leave him. But it's just been tough. Franklin said, wait, what? I never told you to dump him several times and you didn't listen to me. Are you sure about that, sis? She's like, you play too much. Tanisha touched Franklin's bicep mistakenly. What are you doing in the gym? Because you might be overdoing it. I mean, how big do you want to get? What size t-shirt do you have to wear now? I bet you weigh... Tanisha, Franklin butted in, seeing his eyes beginning to well up. Come here, he said, taking her glasses off and hugging her. I know these breakups are tough. And I know you're not going to feel it straight away. But I want you to be better in time. I appreciate you touching my muscles and making me feel good, but this is an emotional situation you're in at the moment, all right? So don't make a light of it. Don't make a joke of it. Why are men such pricks? Sobbed Tanisha, holding on for dear life. Correction, Tanisha. Boys are pricks. Men make mistakes and own them. So why are you not like them, Franklin? Silence as Franklin's response. he withheld. Men or boys were capable of hurting their loved ones in ways that they couldn't imagine. Their mistakes could haunt generations, and they would be oblivious. Why? Because of pride, ego, mockery. And he couldn't hurt someone like her and be content. But he knew better than to judge the man that hurt Tanisha, because it could have been him. Chapter 1. Okay, I mean, it's alright. I mean, it was alright. Okay. Listen, you got to send me more manuscripts, guys. You know what I'm saying? That's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Oh, not too bad. Listen, guys. Let me head off now, guys. Let me head off. It's time, innit? I'm going to eat some breakfast, okay? Guys, if you want your manuscript to be sent to me, send me through the IG. Send it to me on email, lbb91@gmail.com, and I'll read for you. Guys, just let me know, Wagwan. You get me? I appreciate it, guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. Da, 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 da.